This is Jessica.
And this is Lewis.
We have a preschooler and a toddler. Our children are a different kind of perfect. This is a show about surviving parenthood throughout raising children with special needs, while keeping ourselves and our sanity intact. This is FUBAR, Surviving Parenthood with Special Needs Kids. Hello and welcome to FUBAR, Surviving Parenthood with Special Needs Kids. This is Jessica.
And this is Lewis.
Together we have two kids who have special needs. Alex, who is about 1, who had a perinatal stroke, and Benji, who is close to 4, who has autism, ADHD, and developmental delays. In this episode, we discuss basic self-care, what we do, where we struggle, and what we're working toward. I first want to talk about what self-care means to us. So to me, it means literally anything that you do to help yourself survive the day. That is for you to cope or to stay healthy, anything like that. What about you, Lewis?
Self-care. Well, to me, the definition would be basically anything that is able to satiate the necessities of being a living creature. So for me, that would be something like food, air, water, sex, eating food, the basics for being able to survive on planet Earth.
Yeah, sounds about right. So what basic self-care things do we do? So we're not talking about do we do yoga or get massages or, like those things that we really have to go out and do. These are things like bathing, eating, dressing, brushing your teeth, going to the bathroom, all those kinds of things. So that's really what we're talking about in this episode, the basics. So I shower most days. Weekends, it may or may not happen because I try to sleep until the kids wake up, and then there are no free seconds until bedtime. So showers may not happen. I try to get enough hours of sleep. I brush my teeth every day. I brush my hair. I put moisturizer on myself, and I get dressed. The things I didn't mention, like eating, are more inconsistent.
Well, I also attempt to shower at least every other day, though it depends whether it's a hot day or if it's a day doing a lot of heavy work versus passive day where I'm mostly sitting on my butt in the office. Try to brush at least once a day, typically in the evening, floss at least once a week, and also make sure to wipe my ass so that it shines like a marble countertop and trim my beard every month or so.
Oh, what a shiny ass it is. My kind of bathroom routine. So like I said, I shower every day of the work week, although weekends are more inconsistent. I do brush my hair every day and try to do my hair, which really just means brushing my hair, shaking it out to get my curls to work, and that's about it. But I get so hot in the morning that by the time I get to work, I have to put my hair in a ponytail, and then it looks like a frizzy mess. I shave my legs maybe once every 2 months. It really gets the woolly mammoth vibe going. There just isn't time, and it's not a priority. Sorry, Lois. I used to floss religiously until I got pregnant with Alex. Then I had such bad hyperemesis that I just couldn't do it without vomiting. With the push of my life coach, I eventually got back into it 6 months after he was born, and was consistent maybe 5 out of 7 days. She and I decided that we would do 3 out of 4 self-care things a day, like wear a coat if it was cold, floss, shower, and to be honest, I can't remember the other thing. You can see how well I did with that. I did okay for a while with the flossing, and then life got so crazy that I just didn't have time in the morning to floss, even though it only takes a minute or two. By the time I wake up at 5:45 a.m., I go get my breakfast and shower, and then everyone's up. The only way I can eat my breakfast is if I do it while on the potty, with a kid in my lap, while getting dressed and brushing my hair all at the same time. Otherwise, no food or potty for me that day. So flossing really isn't an option, although I keep getting cavities since I had Alex, so it really needs to be an option. I do always brush my teeth every day, though.
Wow, okay, that's a lot of information. Well, if we're getting detailed, all right. So for me, there's this thing, they call it a bidet. All right, you get yourself an orbital polisher buffer, all right, and you get that special cream that you use for getting rid of the scratches on the side of a body of a car. All right, and don't forget a series of mirrors so that you can get a good view of everything, all right? And then
do we really want a view of everything?
Well, trust me, you would. And then, bzzz, and, you can insert the rest that happens, and that's my tip.
Okie dokie then. That's quite a routine. Big question. Do we get enough sleep? So sleep is tough. I go to bed every day by 9, although I want to hop in by 7, but then I wouldn't get a chance to eat, prepare for the next day, or try to decompress, let alone see my husband. And I wake up at 5:45 during the weekday to get to work by 7:30 at the latest. However, I'm in chronic pain all night, and I have wicked hot flashes, even though I'm not perimenopausal or pregnant, and I'm just uncomfortable, so I roll around all night. Plus, still, at least one kid wakes up at least once every night, so I haven't had a full night's sleep in over 4 years, so there's really no such thing as enough sleep.
Yeah, I try to get my 8 hours in as well, but yeah, it can be tough. Of course, bad sleep hygiene, like a fun series of YouTube videos to watch, and I'll stumble upon a really cool science one that just blows my mind. And yeah, I'm a rather junkie for good quality YouTube videos. It seems like you can often get better programming on YouTube from nobodies than what you get on cable television, which we don't have anyway. But
that's true. Eating. This is a little bit easier for me since I'm always hungry and I always want food. Since having 2 kids with special needs, I don't really have time, money, or energy to do other self-care things or to find ways to cope, so food has kind of been that thing, although I know that's a terrible idea. I always get enough for breakfast and dinner, however, I absolutely always work through lunch. Sometimes it's so busy that I forget to breathe. On those days, I either forget lunch or forget to eat part of my lunch, even though I pack my lunch every day. Then I overdo it by eating too much or eating too much junk or sweets at dinner because I'm stressed and because I'm over-hungry, so it really doesn't work out so well.
Yeah, I think I eat plenty, enough. Just for me, it's not always the right proportions or at appropriate times. Or I might skip a meal during the middle of the day and then end up binge eating in the evening or something. And I mean, I'm a little overweight, I guess, if you consider the BMI as like the infallible word of God or something. But still.
I hate BMIs, but that's because I'm way more than a little overweight. So getting enough in is very different than eating healthfully. So I know it's important to eat healthfully. I also think that's hilarious. It's impossible. We have to buy different foods for each member of our family. We have such crazy schedules that we rarely do cook, although Lewis has started making small batches of home-cooked food for the 2 of us, which has really been really helpful. We just really don't have much time to cook, so we just heat up stuff in the microwave. And microwavable healthy food kind of sucks, so there's a lot of junk, or stuff with too many calories, or fried foods, or sweets. Or we go out to a thing on the weekends, and then it takes longer than we expect there, and they have yummy junk, so we eat too much junk, or make not so great choices. Well, at least I do. We do bring snacks for the kids, but there is no way we are actually packing full lunches for 4 people, plus diaper bags, plus sensory stuff, plus a stroller. We have a small sedan. It really wouldn't fit all that stuff. We couldn't heat anything or refrigerate anything, and just yuck. There's too much to plan for getting out of the house anyway. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah. Thankfully, I love cooking. Depends on the day. And so I do try to incorporate as much sort of healthy, I guess, foods into our diet, or at least home cooked meals. Where recently, been into like learning like tricks of like Indian cooking, their paneers and their curries and samosas, and it's calorie dense, but at least it's nutritious. And I mean, I really think that calories are the main thing to watch out for. It's just depending on what you eat, sometimes you end up tricking yourself to eating more calories than you realize. So I think in the end, it's all about the calories, but what you eat can really trick you into how many calories you're eating, if that makes sense. Disclaimer, I'm not a nutritionist.
You just play one on TV. I feel like the stuff that you're cooking is, I mean, first of all, it's delicious. He's an excellent cook. But I also feel like it has to have less sodium than what we buy in the store or in an Indian restaurant. So I feel like in that way, I don't know, tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like at least in that way, even if it's calorie dense, at least it's better for blood pressure.
Yeah, I mean, I do try to ease up on any of the salt for your consideration. So, I mean, I will put some salt in there, obviously, for flavor, but it won't be an enormous amount. It will be like a few pinches or something, and I kind of taste it. If I need to add salt for myself later, I can always do that. You can always add salt. You just trying to take it away is like impossible, really.
Yeah, I'd like to see you try that. That would be interesting. Although probably Benji could figure it out. He likes salt, so he'd probably find a way to pick it out. All right, so what about doing hair? I'm bad at doing hair anyway. I never learned. I was never interested. It was just something that I had. I have 2 whole styles, and they take less than 2 minutes each. However, as you heard, things have been so crazy at home that I pretty much just let my hair dry and do its thing, and that's how I leave the house. I used to be all fancy and put moisturizing cream in my hair so that it didn't look like a ball of frizz, but then one of the kids got a hold of it, and it magically disappeared. And because Lewis and I own nothing, and everything are the children's, it's just gone forever. There are days when I can't even find any hairbrushes, and case in point, Alex was in the bathroom earlier with me, and I just saw him walk off with a bunch of combs, so those are gone too. There's some days I can't even find my deodorant. I bought an extra deodorant to have, and that walked off too, and it turned out Benji was just hoarding all of my bathroom items. So it's really kind of difficult to do these basic self-care things if I don't have any of my stuff. The kids just take everything.
Yeah, I've seriously considered that Benji is going to be like the next Doctor Who, or he somehow has acquired a pocket dimension that he uses to stuff these things in.
To be honest, though, I really think Alex is worse. We were at speech therapy today, and he, every, I want to say 30 to 60 seconds, found a new hidey hole in that room to shove toys.
And he's the one with the pocket dimension.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And so a few weeks ago, the occupational therapist for Benji had recommended that we do a sensory diet. So we were really trying, keyword trying, to implement the sensory diet to make sure that he got what he needed during the day, especially since Benji just kind of goes completely batshit insane at night. Again, today, he was practically talking in tongues by about 6:40, so we put him to bed early, and luckily he can't tell time, so he didn't know. But anyway, one of the things that they recommended was that we use a vibrating toothbrush while brushing his teeth for a few minutes. 5 minutes, as they recommended, is not possible. He would go out of his mind. He can't sit still for 5 minutes for literally anything. This kid is like, if he was trying to like sit down on a blanket and get comfortable, he's like a cat just going in circles for 5 minutes until he just gets up and runs away. So anyway, back to the vibrating toothbrush. We were using it for like a whole 2 days, and then Alex got a hold of it. I'm like, whatever, he can play with it. And the next morning, it was gone. So we tore the house apart. Well, not literally, but like we looked everywhere repeatedly for the stinking toothbrush. Couldn't find it. Ordered another one on Amazon. This was like $5, so whatever. And it was, important that he have for his sensory diet. And I found it today, Lewis.
You did?
Where do you think it was?
Mazel tov.
Any guesses?
Behind the toilet.
That's disgusting, but no. It was in a box of Connects.
I see.
Yes. So that was one of his hidey holes. Alex has a ton of hidey holes. Pretty much the entire house is his hidey hole. He just takes a thing, moves it somewhere else, comes back. He's really like a squirrel with acorns. He just keeps moving at different places and burying stuff, and then nowhere is where it should be, and no one can find it except for him. So I guess he's smarter than a squirrel, but you get the point.
Right, because he actually figured out where he left them. Yeah, and regarding hair, something I figured out a long time ago is you get yourself a big vat of depilatory cream, and just every so often, just dunk your whole head inside it and pull it out, and boom, your hair has been liquefied. So you don't have to.
Yum.
You don't have to worry about it anymore.
Doing makeup. I know this really isn't a concern for you, Lewis, but yeah, right. I have never been good at makeup, nor will I ever be. I know there are like, a trillion billion YouTube tutorials. I will just poke my eyes out. It's not a possibility. I did used to do blush, lip something. I don't know, whatever I did. Foundation and eyeshadow before kids. After Benji, that got dropped down to just foundation. Now I just put on moisturizer on my face while at a stoplight, if I remember it, and if it hasn't disappeared into the mounds of trash in my car. Ooh. Update. So in the last episode, we talked about how gross our car was. That was actually really motivating for me. And I rage cleaned my trunk. So I can actually see the majority of my trunk right now and the majority of the front passenger seat floor. So this is really, really exciting. It only took 5 trash bags full of stuff to empty out that trunk, but it's done. Now, I can't promise it will still be visible next week, but right now, it is actually done. So how do we not look like a schlep? I always do. I'm always wrinkled, nothing matches, I look like I just woke up, and nothing fits. Like, I try. First of all, something that Lewis knows well about me, I am anti-steaming and anti-ironing. I don't know why, I always have been. I just have this thing where I hate it. Kind of rather be wrinkled. Why? I don't know, but whatever, it is what it is. I mean, I try to wear clothes that have been hung up and are not wrinkled, but most of the clothes get pulled down by the children, and so they are already wrinkled or just have been living on the floor for ages. I don't know where our clothes go, but nothing matches. My socks have never matched, I think, since college. I don't know where they go. As I've probably said before, I'm sure Alex just eats them because they disappear. We have purchased so many socks for us and for the children. Nothing has a pair. Even if we just buy all black socks, then what happens is every single one of them are gone. So we can't even try to pair them. It's not a possibility. So I have like a bunch of gray socks and white socks and black socks, none of which are from a pair, but if it's at least the same color from that day, I call it a win. No matter what I do, I still look like I just woke up. You know, I brush my hair, and then by the time no, Lewis is nodding, thank you. No matter what I do, like I brush my hair and then it frizzes, or I still look tired, or my clothes are like falling apart or falling off of me. And I don't have anything that fits. I haven't lost any of the baby weight, unfortunately. And I can't afford to buy new clothes right now, so I just wear my baggy maternity pants, which makes everyone ask me when the baby is due, so yay for that. And 2 tight pre-baby shirts. Well, pre-Alex anyway. And I hope for the best. However, that's, again, a great way to get regularly asked when the baby is due. And yeah, it's never fun. So, Lewis, in my opinion, you never look like a schlep. So what do you do? Like, how do you do it?
Well, regarding socks, I guess I go crazy when my socks don't match. I can do it, but I go out of my way to make sure that whatever I put on my feet, like both sides are like the same. I don't like how it feels, my feet and ankles. Yeah, I even hate it when I put on non-matching socks on the kids, even though they don't give a shit. Like I'll pick up the socks, and even if they don't look exactly the same, I'll kind of eyeball them like at the light to kind of see, all right, are they kind of close enough? Can I deal with this? Despite the fact that the kids don't care, and yeah, I'll just put them on. And yeah, I don't know. It's something I've had to deal with for a while. I need help.
I mean, it really is the more professional thing. I've kind of just decided, and I decided this probably before kids, that it's just going to be my thing, that my socks will never match, and I'll just be proud of it in the end, because it's never going to happen. And interesting story, and this should probably be my fail. The one time I was actually recently able to get my socks to match, 2 times actually. The first time I was able to get my socks to match, I put them on, got to work, and realized, geez, my feet don't feel so good today. My socks are feeling weird, and I took them off, and I realized I was definitely wearing Benji's socks. Hadn't even noticed that they were my 3-year-old socks. That was why my feet hurt. The other time, and actually they didn't match. Monday, I went in for an endoscopy for a possible stomach ulcer, but everything was good, so yay. And I decided to be the weird person and wore my hospital socks from when I had Alex. And I walked in, and they're like, okay, I need you to put these. And then they looked down and saw my hospital socks and said, never mind. So I promptly took those pair of hospital socks and took them home so I could have one more matching pair of something. But as I'm thinking of it now, yes, they were both gray, but they had different designs. So they were from 2 different hospital stays. But they matched in color, and they were both hospital socks, so I'm going to call it a win. Clean clothes. So we do 2 to 4 loads of laundry a day. For tiny people, our children make a ton of laundry. Technically, my clothes start out clean and washed. However, most of them have stains on them that I can't get out, some due to me being clumsy, some due to the children. My pants are all ripped somewhere, and inevitably, before I leave in the house in the morning, I get covered in some sort of food. The other morning, it was milk. I just spilled almond milk all over me. But there was no time to change, so I just hope that nobody has a working nose or working eyes.
Yeah, I actually got called into the office once for having a dirty white work shirt on.
So to be fair, it actually did look clean. I don't know what they were talking about, but whatever.
Yeah, it was one of those shirts that can get dirty easily. It's a very finely fine, like kind of fluffy finish, like cotton, 100% cotton white shirt. So it just anything that the air someone could have like farted and it would change the color of the shirt. I mean, they're that picky, those shirts. So after that, I actually started to like stop wearing them, and we were able to get some dark colored stain resistant twill weaved shirts.
Oh, twill weaved, huh?
Twill, yeah, because those are going to resist stains more and they're going to be tougher. So I started wearing those shirts and haven't had any complaints regarding that, at least. Although I had talking to when I left some of the stinky work uniform under my desk one time. I forgot to bring it home after I had gone out and taken care of a bunch of properties and, after I changed and everything. So
I never feel like I look put together or human. I see other coworkers, pretty much all of them, and they look human. They look put together. They look like, okay, they chose an outfit. They put an outfit on. They did themselves up, and then they went to work. I feel like I look like a mess, and I've just embraced the hot mess mom look. So that's my new thing now. I don't understand how other people do it. I think how they do it is they don't have 2 young children with special needs. What I've noticed is that people who, it's very easy to tell who's a parent, and especially who's a parent or mother specifically of a special needs child, because they look like a tornado just hit them. For parents in general, they do look a little bit more disheveled, but you can really tell kind of the stage of non-parent versus special needs parent, because you just look more disheveled the higher the level of the game is that you're playing of life. So I feel like we're on, as my life coach says, we're on the extra super duper hard level, and I feel like I look it. So who has the time for all this? Like, I know this is basic stuff like flossing and showering and shaving and looking not like your clothes are falling to pieces, but who has time for this? I just can't get any of this together, and these are basic activities. It's just too much and too hard, and there's no time. I mean, how can any parent get this all done?
I at this point, I honestly think that they can't. What's going on is we're probably in like the Truman Show or something, and everybody else is just kind of making it look like it's so easy for them, and we're the ones who are difficult.
It would make more sense.
Yeah, no, I don't actually believe that, but yeah,
would make more sense though.
Yeah, it would. It's difficult.
The last thing I wanted to talk about related to basic self-care, and this kind of fits but kind of doesn't, but whatever, I'm putting it in, it's our show, is taking care of your health. I feel like when you have kids who have special needs, this is just a joke. We have so many appointments for the kids that's impossible to take care of our health adequately. I've been trying to get my blood pressure under control since Benji was born, and I regularly take 3 blood pressure medications, yet my blood pressure is still in the pre-hypertension range with it. My stress level is just so high that I can't get it down, and no matter what I do, I try so hard. I use relaxation strategies and little coping stuff to try throughout the day to get it down, and most of the time I just can't. Plus, with eating poorly, forget it, and there's no time to exercise. So I'm just having trouble getting the blood pressure down. There's no way to exercise. I wake up at 5:45 after a poor night's sleep, get myself and the kids ready to leave at 7, sometimes at 6:30 like I did today, work straight through with only breaks to pee and to run back to what I'm doing. Then I pick up the kids, take care of them until they get put to bed at 7, eat dinner, get everything ready for the next day, then it's 8:30, and I have 30 minutes to chill before bed. I can't exercise with the kids in the evening because they need to be apparently glued to my body, both of them. And we also spend 9 hours on meals and baths, so it just can't be done. Plus, you don't want to do it right before bed anyway, because then you get really poor sleep, and I don't need worse sleep. The morning doesn't work either because they take too long to eat and let us stress them. So they go to school looking like a tornado hit them, so I can't do less to help in the morning. And there's no time at work. I'm slammed all the time with no break. Not that I'm complaining, but there just isn't time, so it can't be done. I have terrible eyesight, and the kids keep hitting my glasses, so I can't actually see out of my glasses, but I don't have time to get them adjusted, so I just hope for the best. I get ear infections, bronchitis, and sinus infections literally at least 2 weeks out of every month, so I'm always on medications for that. The doctor said I need ear and sinus surgery to fix the problem. Lady, are you delusional? How in the hell is that possible? She said it's a 5-day recovery period for the sinus surgery. So Lewis is going to do this all alone? Yeah, no. He would be possibly literally eaten alive. It's almost too much for 4 to 5 people to do it together. There's no way. I can't take off of work for that long. And then I would use up all my sick leave, and if the kids get sick, oh well. The biggest thing is no picking up the kids. Yeah, right. That won't go over well in child world. But even bigger is not getting my face hit. Benji's really impulsive and aggressive, and Alex is a baby and headbutts us and throws stuff and flails around. So I'm hit in the face frequently every single day. There's no way I can go 5 days without that happening, let alone the more they would probably want. It's absolutely impossible. Update on the ear thing, I'm actually getting that done next week so I have ear tubes in, but apparently they got clogged. So I have hardly any hearing in my left ear and just a little bit in my right ear, which makes it really great to hear tiny voices when they talk to me. So I have to go ahead with the ear surgery if I'm actually going to hear. And I keep getting ear infections, so I'm going to go ahead with because it's at this point a necessity. But I don't actually see the sinus surgery happening anytime soon, if ever. Just going to hope that I stop getting sick at some point in my life. So the list goes on, but how in the world can I find time to get it done? It's just not possible. I do take my medications religiously, but that's about as much as I can realistically do. I mean, I know I need to take care of myself, but to be honest, the kids really come first. They're more in crisis mode than I am for most things. So I just feel like they need to come first. What about you, Lewis?
Yeah, physical therapy for my joint disorder, seeing a dermatologist annually, probably find another doctor that actually understands rare joint disorders like Ehlers-Danlos and hypermobile spectrum disorders, because apparently no one seems to understand what those things are. And yeah, I'll be lucky if I can keep up with this, with everything going on, but you got to try.
So in conclusion, it's really hard. We do the best we can. I've worked with my life coach to try to set goals for these things. And when life is on the super duper extra special hard mode, like it is for those who have special needs kids, sometimes it's really helpful to have somebody to really just set goals for these basic things like flossing, routine showering, shaving, because honestly, that is the only way it's going to get done. If it's not set up as a priority and something scheduled in, it will not get done. Sleep is something that I really do try to prioritize because I am exhausted all the time, and that is something I'm not willing to budge on. So, I mean, I wish I got better quality sleep, but I really, really work hard on having good sleep hygiene and getting enough hours of sleep. And so, I think out of all of this, for me, that's the most important one. I am working on eating enough. I've been trying to make even a minute or two for lunchtime to make sure that I at least get food. And what I do is once I get back to my office at noon or whatever time it is, I take out my lunch, so at least it's sitting in front of me. So I have to see it at some point, even if I'm literally shoving it in my face as I'm walking out the door to see another patient. It's really important. The making sure to eat healthfully, I've been trying, and I started using MyFitnessPal again, but I just really struggle, especially if you're making home-cooked things and then you don't know exactly how much of this or how much of that is in it. And then what if you eat a little bit of this and a little bit of that and you're not quite sure how little bit? And it just gets really hard, and then I just say, forget it, I'm not going to do it. But when I have used it regularly, it really has helped. The makeup thing, the hair thing, I don't really care enough about to do anything like that. The matching socks I gave up on, forget it. I'm just doing the best I can and the taking care of my health. In a way, it kind of helps knowing that I see patients every day who've had strokes, some of which are unfortunately young. So it reminds me, okay, even if I don't do every single thing I need to do to take care of myself, I do need to do as much as I can, and I need to prioritize certain things like the blood pressure, because otherwise I am going to be one of my patients. So that helps. Lewis, before we go to fails, do you have any other words of wisdom?
Just gotta keep pressing forward and bend like a reed in the wind, Just keep trying to take every challenge as it comes and do what you can to make it through. I think it'll get better.
And now it's time for fails, nails, and comical tales. All right. So my fail was helping Benji to find his fingerling monkey. When they were a craze a year or two ago, I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. It was cute. It was really neat. And Benji could care less. So it got put away, and he just found it a couple of weeks ago, and then he lost it again. Then we had to help him find it again. And for one of the nights, he spent all night making it make sounds and then giggling, then make sounds, then giggling. And this thing is so annoying. The sounds are so annoying, and he just wants to play with it all the time. And I mean, I'm glad he's using imaginative play, but this thing is so annoying. And then he finds it, and we have to keep asking him to turn it off, and I just hate this thing. So I think he's at the end of his interest in the fingerling monkey, which I'm glad about, but I wish I'd never helped him find it in the first place. Lewis?
Me, I keep seeming like every day I trip over Benji, and I feel terrible every time, but the little bugger, he likes to walk right in front of me. Now he does it on purpose, and he'll even tell me he's doing it.
Yeah, he did today.
Yeah, because I told him not to do that, because I'm like, you're obstructing my line of sight, buddy. Like I can't see you when you're that short and you kind of come out of nowhere, especially if I'm holding his brother Alex. Yeah, he just kind of sneaks in there like a sneak attack, and I trip over him, and he just kind of looks at me like, a dog that you trip over in the middle of the night. It's just like, what did I do? I'm like, you get in my way.
So my nail, technically I got this from what they call a special teacher, but I implemented it, so I'm calling it my nail, is I helped create a calm down chair for Benji. It was really simple. He has a little Benji-sized recliner in his room, and we have that and a pillow and his weighted blanket, and we call that the calm down chair. So we didn't have to do anything to make this chair, but we sat him down and we told him, if you're really struggling, if you're having trouble, if you're overwhelmed, if whatever, go to your calm down chair. So he does. Whenever he's crying or upset or having a hard time, he will go to his calm down chair, which has been really great, because then it really truly helps him calm down. The only downside to that is he's a clever little bugger, and he tries to use it as an escape. So last night, he didn't want to go to bed, and he was crying. He's like, I can't go to bed. I'm crying. I need to use my calm down chair. So he did that a couple times, and, if he doesn't want to go potty or if he doesn't want to eat, he uses his calm down chair. But since he's easily distractible, we can usually distract him or entice him into doing the bathroom or eating. So all kind of works out. What about you, Lewis?
Myself, I'm glad I just remembered to put Benji's bathing suit underneath his record clothes that we're supposed to every swim day, so that we don't get yelled at. So at least the last 2 times, I think I was able to do it. So yay me.
Yeah, he goes to school at a place that has a gym, so they have an indoor pool, and the 3s and the 4s, they go swimming once a week, I think 4 months out of the school year, which is really awesome, because I know for children who have autism, there are a lot of unfortunate drownings, and this makes me really happy that potentially we can make that less likely to happen. So I have 2 comical tales. Benji is really into body parts. He's been discovering them for like a year and a half now, but they still fascinate him. So he was sitting at the table, and I don't know if this is 2 separate incidents or what, but he looked down because he was pantless since we were potty training. He's like, it's still Dare about his penis. And then he's like, is my penis mine? Can I play with it? Okay, Dare. Another time, at a time when he was talking about skeletons, he's like, my fish is going to eat my bones and spit me out as a ball and give me a man's voice. Alrighty, Dare. Lewis?
My comical tale, when I was trying to, Alex had woken up early one day and I was just trying to kind of like chill with him like on the guest bed, and his ukulele was there, his little ukulele. And he picked it up and he was kind of like smacking the side of it, and you can hear like the little hollow like sound that it makes. And then all of a sudden he like kind of looked around, got up really slowly, lifted up his arm and started to smack himself in the head. He just did a few times, kind of looked around like confused, and then started smacking the ukulele again. And then went back to hitting himself in the head and kind of went back and forth. And he was kind of like looking like, why does it sound different? And I thought it was really funny.
Oh, that kid. Now it's time for us to share a self-care hack of the week, where we share what helped us survive. Okay, Lewis, tell me, what self-care tool got you through this week?
Yeah, well, still working with the podcast, since that seems to be the only thing I have time for, and I'm able to actually listen to it at work sometimes when I'm analyzing numbers and fun things. Recently, it was last podcast on the left, one of their series that they did. Those guys are pretty funny there. That's really all I got.
Yeah, I've been into that for like a year and a half. They're very inappropriate guys, but they're really funny, and sometimes it's just fun to listen to something hilarious. And Lewis didn't want to do it, and now apparently he's hooked. Yay! So my self-care hack of the week is subscription boxes. So this is different than what I talked about last week with the Kiwi crates. These are just for me. I'm not going to name specifics right now, but feel free to reach out if you're interested. One is a self-care box for adults. Just it has self-care stuff like arts and creams and just journals and just other stuff. And it comes every quarter. And I'm really terrible about using the stuff in it, but it makes me feel really good. And there are a few things that I do use regularly, so that's good. And there have been times when I've used it that it made me push myself to use more self-care strategies. So I'll call that a win. Another one is a beauty box. I've tried a bunch of these over the years, and more when I had the funds before children, but there's one that I get as a gift every month, and it was just like a one-time thing for like, I don't know, my birthday or the holidays or something like that. And it has some nice beauty care products, and it's great because it gives me different products that I wouldn't necessarily buy or wouldn't be able to afford for myself, or wouldn't even know to try for like my hair and my face. And the cool thing is I never know what's going to come in it. So sometimes it's toothpaste or shampoo or conditioner or body wash. And I'm like, oh, thank God I was running out of it. And I don't really want to spend the funds to buy some. So I haven't had to buy any of that stuff in like a year or two because I've just had it, which is really nice. So it's self-care in that I have stuff to take care of my body, but also I don't have to spend extra money on things that I'd prefer not to spend money on. That's my self-care hack of the week. All right, that's our show. Thanks so much for listening. This is FUBAR, Surviving Parenthood with Special Needs Kids. Well, that's it for our show. To find out more about the show, please go to www.fubarpod.com. Check us out on Facebook with our FUBAR, Surviving Parenthood with Special Needs Kids group, and on Twitter at FUBARPod. If you like our show, please click on subscribe and help us out by giving us 5 stars on iTunes or wherever you find our podcasts. And leave us a review so other like-minded parents can find out what you like about us and discover their community in which to survive and thrive. See you next time on FUBAR, Surviving Parenthood with Special Needs Kids.